Brodes Media.
Yo, before we jump into discussing the Phils, I hope you had a happy 4th of July. And if you didn't smoke an Amelio cigar during your 4th of July weekend, you're a fool and you better now, right now. And all you have to do is go to the link down below and you can utilize promo code BRODES10 at checkout for 10% off. These Amelio cigars, let me tell you something. New school roots, old school attitude, locally owned, third generation, and they're made at the Fábrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. There's only one cigar to smoke, and that's an Amelio cigar. So do not miss out. When I tell you that I'm in love with them so much, and I just went out and I got myself a bunch of boxes of them, and I've been bringing them out to the golf course with the boys. I've been hanging out at some parties by the pool. My buddy's got pools, and we go, hey, let's kick it for a weekend, and come on over and hang out. And I'm bringing the cigar. Brodes, bring the Amelios. Brodes, bring the Amelios. Brodes, you better bring the Amelios. I said, fellas, there's only one damn cigar to smoke. I promise you that. I'll bring the Amelios. You got to bring the Amelios to your home, to the boys, to the family parties. Check out the link down below and join the Amelio cigar family today. Tell me how it's possible to know that Zack Wheeler is fucking amazing and then he somehow wows you. On Sunday, today, I was wowed. A one-hitter and fucking Austin Hayes of all people. What a joke. He's rounding third base, egging on the fans, and it's funny. During that at-bat, I was on the treadmill with the weight vest on, okay? And I was watching, and I was thinking to myself how I'm going to incorporate Austin Hayes into the show. Didn't think it would be the first 7 seconds, but here we are. And I saw someone who covers the team said, I have no idea why Austin Hayes is getting booed by the fans. And I'm going, I do. Boo! Boo! He's in 300 and doing damage with the Reds. He couldn't do a damn thing here. Now, of course, there were some real issues going on, and maybe that's why physically he was being hamstrung, if you will. But we didn't get the production we were looking for, and now he's raking. That's why we did it. And then he's the one that hit the bomb of Wheels. Oh, man. Wheels. Come on, man. Wheels. Thank you, dude. Thank you. You're so amazing. I felt something. I felt butterflies. I felt goosebumps. I felt just awesome feelings. No other way to put it. I watched him throw an off-speed pitch to De La Cruz. And De La Cruz tried to send a piss missile to Mars. He missed it. Of course he did. And the way Wheels gets the ball back from JT, and then he plants his foot on the rubber, is kicking some dirt off or whatever, getting ready for the next pitch. So nonchalant, like, dude, how dumb are you? You thought you were really going to square up that pitch, you idiot, you moron, you dope, you fool, you dumb ass. And he ends up getting them with some sick cheese on the outside part of the dish later on in the at-bat. He's saying something under his breath as he's going back to the dugout to 50,000 fans going, Wheels! 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 Unreal. I don't even know what else to say. Every single start at this point, it's almost like the city comes together as one. And we all admit that, oh my God, this is just one of the best free agent signings in the history of Philadelphia sports. He's that filmy. I mean, there was only one extra batter today. You got the minimum that you could see in an effort. And because of a solo shot, and one solo shot only, it was just one more than the minimum. And he does it every time he touches the mound. It never stops. And it was a real damn shame that we were even debating if he would get enough run support by the end. Luckily, the savior of all saviors, Bryce and Thoat, hits one to right field, and thank the Lord they were able to take two, and they could salvage that incredible outing by Wheeler. He gets the ninth, cruise control. Luckily, we didn't have to worry about anybody coming out of the bullpen and blowing this thing and having this nasty breath, nasty taste in her mouth following a 4th of July weekend. Whew. That would have been miserable. Now, Friday, this series started off with me being red in the face angry. And it wasn't because I was sitting on the damn beach, soaking in the sun, falling asleep without reapplying, and it looked like I was a burnt lobster. Although that may have happened Saturday. I was red in the face, though, because Friday, that was one of the most pathetic performances by this group, including Topper. Topper can't get in a challenge in time. Sosa, the double play at home plate. You had first and third, no outs. You can't score a damn run. They want to challenge it, but the leader can't actually execute that enough. I don't know if he was safe or not, but just the fact that that was happening, if it's malpractice by the leader of the team, then most likely it's going to be malpractice from the entire team. What else happened? Hold on. Bases loaded, no one out. They only scored one run. Bohm, bases loaded, 2 outs in a 9-6 ball game. Swings at the first pitch in the dirt, and then he watches strike 3 right down to the heart of the plate. He starts throwing a tantrum. He starts throwing his helmet, throwing his bat, barking at the ump as if that pitch didn't fly right down the middle of the zone, dude. And even Rob Thompson was annoyed after the game because he gave a very generic, quick response to, what'd you think on that third? Yeah, it was a strike. Waiting for the next question right after that. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Yet we have Bohm acting like that. Now, Bohm ended up coming up large on Saturday. I'm just walking you through how I felt throughout the weekend, game by game. Friday, I was so aggravated. JT Realmuto couldn't turn a double play. He's throwing the ball at somebody's back of the neck, running down to first base. You're lucky as hell that the helmet flew off, hit the runner's cleat. The helmet was in midair, and somehow that's what JT's ball hit. But that was a cannon right to the guy's back of the neck. That was dysfunctional. It's a lot of chaos. A lot of missed opportunities offensively. A lot of disgusting base running. A lot of poor defense. And they lose. They responded to that pretty well. What stings, though, is Jesus Luzardo got carved up again. Double, double, double. Walk, walk, walk. I couldn't even keep track on all the chaos that was happening with Cincinnati at that point. 2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 Ks, and doubles. Seriously, were pissing me off. But he was getting crushed out of the stretch. Whenever he's got guys on bases, he's a completely different pitcher. Listen to these numbers from Matt Gelb of The Athletic, because he put this out on that Friday night, and I bookmarked it just for this instance. Since Luzardo adjusted his mechanics from the stretch after the June 5th start in Toronto, he's seen a drastic gap in his performance. With no runners on base, they are hitting .226 against him with 6 walks and 23 strikeouts. With runners on base, they're hitting .423 against him. He has 7 walks and 11 Ks. .423 out of the stretch. That is wow type of damage. That is crazy, absurd nonsense. So they got to figure out and clean up this Jesus Luzardo thing. I'm starting to wonder if he thought he was tipping pitches. Now he's trying to not tip pitches, but he was never actually tipping pitches. I don't think tipping pitches was ever the problem. But he's going back to the tape and trying to do certain things with his glove and trying to do certain things with his hand so nobody can pick up. He's trying to fix an issue that's not even there. And then that's causing him to think about that instead of thinking about actually executing his pitches. And now here we are. And it's to the point where McAble gets sent down. Taijuan Walker's getting slid in. Listen, they did not want to go with the yo-yo Taijuan Walker bullpen starter thing. They made that very clear. And Andrew Painter's getting beat up a bit in AAA. So it's a very dysfunctional spot right now in the rotation after Wheeler, Ranger, and Sanchez. And it's a shame that Sanchez and Ranger don't get the nods that they deserve for the All-Star game. Am I going to cry about it? No, there were a few people that got boned, Trey Turner included. You know I'm not a big Trey Turner fanboy, but based off the numbers, this first half, there is a real legitimate argument that he got destroyed. But I'm hoping that there could be a benefit from this. Rangers pissed. Sanchez pissed. Turner's pissed to prove people wrong. You didn't think I was an all-star this year? Fuck you. And then he goes nuclear in the postseason and smacks around a .412 batting average with some pop. Or Sanchez goes out there and that changeup is dancing, that changeup is dirty, and that changeup is creating a ridiculous amount of swing and misses. Let it burn them. We got Kyle Schwarber. We got Zack Wheeler. They deserve it without a doubt. I'll tell you someone who doesn't deserve it at all right now, especially based on the way he's playing. That's Bryce. Woof. Bryce is looking bad. And it's not even to the point where I think the wrist is bothering him, even though it is. I just think he looks confused on what's even come. Watching pitches that are hittable, go right by him, not even picking the bat off the shoulder. His at-bats are bad right now. And it could be very similar to the Luzardo thing where he's so worried about the wrist either giving him problems or not giving him problems for each at-bat that he's so focused on that, it's taking him away from the execution of what the pitcher's throwing, trying to grab a sense of what's coming out of his hand. He's so worried about his own personal issues that it's not allowing for him to develop and take that next step since returning from the IL. I hope I'm wrong. Look, the team won. I do got to admit, this series feels very similar to the series against the San Diego Padres. It doesn't move much for me. I still saw their offensive woes and bases loaded, only scoring 1 run with no outs. In the playoffs, you need to put up 3 at a minimum. You need to have a bases clearing double at a minimum to try and grab separation. You saw it in the first game and the third game of this series. The offense is just so nauseating, if that's even the right word. It still pisses me off like no other. Nick Castellanos with some ugly at-bats and high leverage moments. All that. Ugh. But they keep winning series. So they're winning series, yet sometimes how they're winning them and the frustration. I've never seen such a winning baseball team be so annoying to consume, be so frustrating to watch. Yet then there are moments where it's spectacular. Watching Zack Wheeler was awesome. I mean, there's just no other way around it. What I got to experience with Zack Wheeler throwing a gem, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I was laughing, pissing myself laughing, in tears laughing, because you could watch the Reds. They were trying to watch the replay as they were walking back to the dugout after a strikeout. They had zero business of even being up there trying to attack. You look dumb as hell. You look stupid. You're not going to figure it out. I mean, you're just not going to fucking figure it out. This guy's light years better than you, and he's just going to continue to shove these nasty pitches down your throat. You suck. And that was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, and it amazes me that I get amazed when watching him pitch when I know this is what he is. Double-digit Ks, right? He doesn't walk anybody. Come on, man. Come on. So that was a nice cherry on top from the weekend. That moved the needle, but that's just dude, Zack Wheeler, you know, kind of thing. That's a very individualized kind of thing. You got to admit that the offense is still bleh. So from a team aspect, it continues to be the common trend. The offense doesn't satisfy. They win games, though, and they beat teams, but the offense doesn't satisfy. And maybe it'll be their kryptonite, maybe it won't be. You saw on Saturday, you were in a grind game at Ranger Suarez. What ends up happening? Bohm and Schwarber late. Boom. Separation. And you know what's crazy about the way the series started? I am stunned that Friday took me through the emotional journey that it did. Because if you remember, Abbott's on the bump. This dude is sniffing a sub-2 ERA. And you get to him nice and early. You put up 3 runs. You have a good, comfortable lead for Jesus Luzardo to work with an advantage. And he had a nice first inning. And then the second he went back out there on the field, it was a completely different guy. And when you get to a starter who is at the Cy Young level this season, and he's doing special things, you get to him so early and you throw a little wrench into it, and it's like, whoa, okay, hold on, I got rocked, I got popped, I got hit in the nose here, and now I got to try and figure out how to work through the rest of this. You stunned the other team's best starter. You can't ask for anything better. And then somehow you gave me one of the most disappointing games of the season with a 9-6 loss. It's crazy. There was a what-if moment in that game, though. Remember, Kyle Schwarber, with 2 men on, hit one that I thought was going over the wall. It ends up just barely missing, and that could have tied the game up at that point. It would have been a 3-run blast. You had a 3-run deficit, but instead, a game of inches, it really does end up potentially being the difference. But, yeah, that was that Friday game. Abbott, you had 9 hits off of him. He got out of the game in the 4th. So just crazy. But the Ranger stuff. So there's something on that too. There's some bad news on the Ranger stuff. But there's good news when it comes to my lawn. And there's good news when it comes to your lawn having the best lawn service in the world after reaching out to the experts over at Green Lawn Fertilizing. Green Lawn Fertilizing, the best in the area, best in the market, experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. They're so extremely knowledgeable at what they do, it's not even funny. They've created their own custom blend that helps your lawn recover. They just came last Friday. They did their 5th treatment, and as the treatments go, you can just watch your lawn progress, and it's something that I continue to admire. Green Lawn Fertilizing right now is giving you 50% off your first 2 treatments if you sign up with my link down below in the description. That's 50% off your first 2 treatments. They are the best. When I tell you, they give me a buzz. Hey, Brodes, I'm in the area. Would love to just check out everything, see how it's going. Oh, yeah, man, no doubt about it. Come on down and come on over. Check it out. See what you're seeing. You know what I mean? That whole thing. Just great communication. Hey, the reason why we're doing this treatment now is because we want to make sure that this is happening, and after we do this step, this is what's going to occur next, and they educate you on where your lawn currently stands and where they expect it to go in the proper timeline throughout it. You got to make sure you talk to the experts. Making sure your lawn is in the perfect condition really does create a personality for your home, and it gives it life, it gives it character, it gives it a smile, if you will. It gives you a big white teeth smile. And you don't want to be a fool. Make sure you take advantage of the 50% off deal that they have for their first 2 treatments with you. Make sure you check the link down below in the description. All right, so the Ranger stuff. Ranger was yanked at 5 innings, 1 earned run, 80 pitches. Now, the second that happened, you had to have known something was up, right? And post-game, it was discussed how that was methodical. Rob Thompson wanted to do it. They realized a lot of his starts, 7 innings pitch, 7 innings pitch, 7 innings pitch, a lot of workload. And they felt it would be good, knowing where he's at, to limit him. Then we heard from Ranger Suarez. Because I had the BS sniff meter out. Yeah, please. No, I'm sure it was methodical, but you're not just doing... I just watched Zack Wheeler throw 108. The other day, I watched some of these guys throw over 100. No. They're not just randomly deciding just to do this with Ranger when nothing's wrong. They're not just getting out ahead of something and when he's on this type of mission. I'm watching guys get longer leashes to go out and shove and to do their thing. Anthony Sanfilippo of On Pattison tweeted that Ranger said he didn't feel great after his last start versus Atlanta with his shoulder and his back. These are things that normally pop up with Ranger. To Ranger's credit, If I didn't hear that from him, I would have never known. Physically, there really aren't any signs of that. He did a good job when he was on the bump, but it does start somewhere. The back stiffness, the dead arm. Now we're talking about his shoulder not feeling great. Each year, there's a wall. And I hope to God, to the baseball gods, that this is not him giving us the information that something is happening and starting. I think they are reacting to what Rangers telling them, which is a good thing, right? You don't want to say, who cares? Go throw anyway. But something's happening. It just comes down to, can they monitor it properly so it doesn't hurt you? And maybe they know how to get out in front of this and they can somehow manage it, possibly? Or is the inevitable on the way? And it's always been part of the Ranger Suarez story, unfortunately. He's top tier. He's premier. He's elite. When he's healthy and cooking and doing his thing, you can see it. No one can touch him. He's so poised. He's so confident. He's so arrogant. His stuff is ruthless. There's always a time, though, where it doesn't have that same feel. He doesn't make that same impact. I'm praying to the baseball gods that this isn't the start of that. For whatever it's worth. They did win the series. I personally, now that I'm sitting here 20-something minutes into the show, feel I've been angry a lot about that. Well, because Friday got me mad. And the Ranger thing, I'm just worried about. But the Wheeler thing was awesome. I'm really happy for Bryce and Thoat. There were fans calling me on Final Out on WIP Friday night when Edmundo Sosa was pinch hit for Bryce and Thoat, and they said the reason why the Phillies lost that game is because Rob Thompson is very bad at managing pinch hitters. And I tried to explain how if you're going to win a World Series, you need Bryce and Thoat. Whether you like to admit that or not, you need Bryce and Thoat. Now, you need Edmundo Sosa too, but how many times are you going to bang your head against the wall with Edmundo Sosa? He's a utility player, and he's a really good utility player, but there's spurts where he does nice things, and then there's spurts where when you overplay him, he gets overexposed, and then he doesn't do a lot of good things. That's just the nature of Edmundo Sosa. There's this wave. Right now, he has been doing better things than not, but there will be a low again. That's Edmundo Sosa to a T. I've seen it a billion times already. Just like I know what Marsh is, I know what Rojas is, and truth be told, I do know what Thoat is. But if you visualize winning a championship, you need Bryce and Thoat. So if you pinch hit Bryce and Thoat in a July game against the Cincinnati Reds in a 8th inning, for Edmundo Sosa, I mean, that's not where I'm wasting my breath. That's not where I'm crying. What you need to do is do your best to give him some opportunities to work good at bats, and then the execution needs to be on Thoat to deliver. And he sure as hell did. So just like I'm praying that Ranger Suarez isn't hitting some sort of lull here, I'm praying that this could get Bryce and Thoat to a competent offensive level again. He's never going to be the player we want him to be offensively, but I do think he could be better than a 230 hitter as well, and be better than a guy that just works good counts, because at some point, working good counts is only going to get you so far. I need more than that. I need a serious jump from that. And you saw what he was capable of doing. You know, another thing on just roster construction and lineups, I could understand, while I'm not the biggest Max Kepler fan in the world and obviously not worth the money that Dave Dombrowski gave him, and I don't think he's an everyday outfielder. He hits that home run a few days ago. Then they have an off day on Thursday. Then they see some lefty lefty starters. So his lefty bat is out of the lineup. And then he finally plays again. He hit a home run, right? So he stuck it to them a little bit. Hey, here's my power. And then off day, not playing, not starting, and then he doesn't see a game again for another 4 days or so. Again, I'm not a big Max Kepler guy, but when you think of it like that, I'm sure it is a little difficult at times. That's all. Now, that's a roster construction thing. And I don't blame the Phillies for doing it. But when you really just think about it from that level is you're asking him to do more. He hits a home run. What day was that homer? That homer had to have been in that series against San Diego. And that was probably the last game against San Diego. So that was they played the doubleheader. That's right. Kepler hit a home run in the fourth inning. It was a 2-run blast. They were down 1-0. The Padres scored the top of the fourth. Phillies scored bottom of the fourth with a 2-run shot that went 380 feet where Kepler and Bohm both scored. So after that, they had off Thursday. Friday, he did not start the game. Nope. And did not come into the game at all. Saturday, I was on the beach that day and listened on the radio. He got one pinch hit in the seventh inning where he struck out looking. He came in for Otto Kemp. And then on Sunday, he was in the lineup. So 3 days off after hitting the homer. I don't know. Do with that information what you will. Let's take a couple phone calls, shall we?
Hey, Brodes, Rowdy from Syracuse. Wow. I mean, Wheels absolutely shoving. I mean, all but a perfect game. Incredible. And then Stott answering the call. I mean, I don't know what was said to him, but I'm glad he responded well. 2 walks, homer game. Gotta love it. Go ahead, homer, at that. Love it. I hope they keep this going.
I appreciate it, Rowdy. Yeah, I hope they keep it going too. I don't know if something happened with your phone there and cut you off or whatnot. Big 2 series out on the West Coast before the All-Star break hits us. So I can't believe we're already at the All-Star break. It's pretty wild. I like that you brought up that Bryce and Stott thing because some of the chaos when the series began was Nick Castellanos barking at fans when the game was over because allegedly somebody said something to Bryce and Stott as he was walking back to the dugout and it was split. Some fans felt Nick should keep his mouth shut and not talk to fans that way. I look at it like this. If it crossed the line, and most likely it did, if that many people felt a certain type of way about it, then I don't have an issue at all with one of the players standing up for his boys, standing up for his teammate, standing up for Bryson Stott in a time where he isn't playing his best baseball. Now, if it was just, hey, come on, Stott, we need more out of you, kid. Now, I doubt it was that, right? Because why would Nick ever feel the need to turn around and start pointing his finger in a direction? It was probably someone who was banged up, hammered, and crossed the line. And if somebody crosses the line, I have no problem at all. And quite frankly, there's a part of me that likes it. So I'm actually siding with Team Nick until proven otherwise here, that there was no reason to be Team Nick in this circumstance. But you're right. That did just happen. And then here's Bryson Stott helping put the team on his back. Him and Bohm on Saturday put the team on his back after crying to the ump watching strike 3 go right down the heart of the plate. Stott, the two, I was going to say young kids who aren't young anymore. In times of need, we got them. And we'll probably spend more time on how dysfunctional Bryce looks because he's probably escaping some combo right now, but Bryce looks rough. And you need someone to do something when that's the case, and you had guys do it. After some adversity, too. Both of them just dealt with some problems, whether it was a poor at-bat or dealing with fans. And then they show up to the ballpark, and boom. So good for them, because I'm sure it's not easy. All right, back to the phones.
Bros, I just want to talk about the best pitcher in baseball right now. Not close, Zack Wheeler. This dude is superhuman. This dude's a superstar. And I cannot thank this dude enough for what he's done for the city of Philadelphia and how dominant and how he's willing to go out there time and time again and give it his all. 100% every time he goes out there. This dude's a beast. This dude ages like fine wine. He is a man on a mission, and my God, I hope this dude wins Cy Young this year. I fucking love this guy. I really do. For me, my favorite Phillies, it would be Jimmy Rollins, and then right there, Zack Wheeler. Love this guy. awesome stuff today. Go Phils, man. Let's go.
Wow, I love that. Oh, all right. Now, listen, I can't debate at all if you got Zack Wheeler up there, because he is someone that brings punch, man. He's someone who just goes about his business. I think stealing it from the Mets probably gives him a little bit added sugar, too. Not only did we just get Zack Wheeler, but we got Zack Wheeler from the Mets when he wasn't even close to performing like this, and we were able to get him healthy and shine. And, yeah, you're right. When it comes to Cy Young, you got to imagine it's coming, because how many times he's been in the mix, how many times he's been in the conversation, and now you're seeing historic level of dominance. And there's a part of me that wonders if he keeps cooking like this, is there a chance that he takes back some of his remarks on how long he's going to play? Because, I mean, if you're still this red hot, if you're still this nasty, if you're still competing at a level that is the best in all of the sport, my God, everyone gets all excited for the Paul Skeens and things that are happening in Detroit. And by all means, fair, right? I'm not pretending like these other guys aren't studs, but Zack Wheeler, the respect that needs to go on his name more, it's constantly, man. He goes from 8 innings, no walks, double-digit Ks to a complete game, only allowing the 1 hit. Austin Hayes, man, there's scrubs out here with no batting gloves ruining what would have been unbelievable. But you're right. Like, there's a part of me, again, and I started to say this a little bit earlier, I feel maybe I've talk more about anger and Ranger Suarez and the potential injury more than anything else this episode, unless I'm completely wrong and I'm just not feeling this outright. But I want to make sure Zack Wheeler gets all the love in the world for a series that just shows me they are who they are, an offensive, annoying team, but they find ways to win, and good starting pitching for the most part outside of the Luzardo mishap. That Zack Wheeler effort, watching that pitch by pitch and watching the fans appreciate what he was doing in real time. There were some moments where they caught people on the broadcast just truly digesting the effort that Wheeler was giving them. And you're listening to callers talk about Jimmy Rollins. You know what I mean? Jimmy Rollins, an all-timer. And now you got Zack Wheeler on those same lists. And it makes sense because this is outrageous on a day-to-day basis. It's just automatic. I've never seen anything like it. All right, let's go to Malcolm in Georgia here.
Oh, my God, Brodes. These Phillies, the only team I can know that can have me high and low in the same game. Congrats to Zack Wheeler. Excellent job, bro. Excellent job. But, Brodes, our team is so flawed. So flawed. And I hate to think that we have this good pitching, Suarez, Wheeler, Sanchez, that's gotten us through this first half of baseball. Can they last? Can it last? Can they keep us going? Can they get to the playoffs? But we are so flawed. I mean, that 7th inning, first and third, nobody out, and we can't score a run.
That's where it's going to bite you in the rear end against these really good teams. Can they make the playoffs? Yes, of course. Is there added pressure to your starting staff because of the limitations in the offense? Yeah, you're starting to see some gross ABs by Nick, and when you need a timely at-bat, it's getting rough again. But yes, the first and third, no outs, not scoring. The bases loaded, no outs, only getting 1. Things that you saw in this series in Cincinnati and kind of consistently as of late. That's problematic and most likely going to be a traumatic experience for us all once we get into the playoffs. That's my number one concern with this team. Following that would be the bullpen. So I get it. Totally. It is so true. I was talking to a family member of mine, and the way I describe them, they're just an annoying good baseball team. They're a good baseball team that is so annoying to watch because I feel a lot of their flaws are fundamental. You know, the bad base running, the poor throws around the diamond at times, the miscues. Bad ABs happen sometimes. It's just the nature of the sport, unfortunately. But the way this team gets the highs and lows going throughout one game, You go 8 innings, you want to vomit because the game sucks, and then all of a sudden you get 1 homer by Bohm, and you go, wow, okay. They won 2 out of 3, or they tied the series up, and now they got a chance to win it with Wheels, and they just kind of like pull it out of their rear end after everybody hating them on Friday and everybody hating them for about 90% of the game on Saturday afternoon. They're an annoying good baseball team. But yes, the lack of scoring with timely hits right now is major. Major for me. With that, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I hope the style fits the feeling out there, but I can only tell you how I feel after consuming the weekend. You guys are great. I love you. We'll keep attacking this week here with this late night run against San Francisco, a really good opponent on the road. So we'll see how this team shows up. You guys are the best. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July weekend, and we will be talking very soon.